everybody. Let's get cooking here. 6 o'clock sneaked up on me. Get some more light going. Okay, as I promised, we're going to be making pan-roasted halibut with charred tomatoes, lemons, and herbs. This is wonderful. I will be adding this to YouTube so you can see it later, and I'll add the recipe in the links. So let's get started. First, I'm going to get my oven preheated and get my pan preheated. So we got that going there. I am using our stainless steel cookware today, and it has a non-stick interior. So this makes it all the benefits of stainless steel, but you don't have that really sticky stuff. So we're using that, dishwasher safe as well. So I've already got my halibut sectioned into four ounce pieces like the recipe called for. And I've already got all my ingredients here. We have our tomatoes. It called for the cherry tomatoes, the yellow ones, but I like these. I like the kind that are all different colors because it's prettier and still good flavor. And I've got all my herbs that it called for. I've got, let's see, I've got basil, oregano, and thyme. I just kind of went out and picked out, ooh, it smells so good too. Okay, and I have a half a lemon, and I have 4 garlic cloves and olive oil, and white balsamic vinegar, which is all this recipe calls for. You can use white wine if you want. I usually keep these little bottles of wine on hand for cooking, but red and white. But I like, in this recipe, I've made it several times, I prefer the balsamic vinegar, white balsamic. It just adds a little bit more flavor to it. So this is heating up. I should have already had that preheated, and my oven's heating up. So all I got to do, I'm going to wait till that heats up just a little bit more. And all we're going to do is just put these tomatoes in there and let them, let's just go ahead and get them in there. They're going to start charring, and they'll take a few minutes because I didn't have that preheated, and I apologize for that. But once that starts charring, and it just happens really fast, then we're going to take those tomatoes out and we're going to put them in, it said to remove to a plate. This recipe came from the Wall Street Journal, but it's a favorite. I have made it several times. You can use, if you can't find halibut, you can use cod or any other kind of sea bass would be good. Any kind of white flaky fish, thick white flaky fish. So I've got that. So we're just going to get these cherry tomatoes a little bit charred here, and I want to keep them warm. So this is a new product that Pampered Chef just came out with, and I love it. This is the larger one. We also have a smaller one. It is, let me make sure I get the title right, insulated server. So it's kind of like a thermos. It's metal on the inside, keeps your food hot up to 2 hours. It's got the lid. And even when you're serving, so like if you're serving, it even has this little thing on the side so that you can just set it to get your food out and put it right back on. So that way we'll be able to keep our tomatoes hot once they get charred. We're going to also smash up our tomatoes in a little bit, and I forgot to get, I like to use my mix and chop for that. So let's get that out of there. And I'll go ahead and get, I'm going to put our fish down there for right now. And I'll go ahead and get our lemon sliced up while we're waiting for those tomatoes to get charred. And we're just going to really thin slice our lemon and get all the seeds out of it. I think, oops, there's a little bit more seeds in there. Let's get those out. And fresh lemon smells so good. And get that. Adds a lot of flavor to this recipe. So what are you, if you're not cooking with me tonight, what are you having for dinner? It's Tuesday. I know a lot of people like to have Taco Tuesday. That's always good. And just get a few more slices of this lemon. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cut these slices in half. Just so it's easier to eat and serve, okay? And then it also calls for us to add some garlic. So let's see how we're doing here. Darn it, I wish I had that preheated a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get our garlic pressed into the lemons because we're going to be adding that together to the pan. And if you haven't used our garlic press before, you need to get it because fresh garlic is amazing. World of difference than the kind that comes in the can or the jar that has that liquid. You don't want that. That is nasty. It can get rancid really quick. Fresh garlic is the way to go. So, here we go. That smells good. Okay, one more clove. Oopsie. Oopsie. Excuse me. I'm taking the peel off so it doesn't matter. I'm getting through to the garlic underneath. You're okay. Alright, so we're good there. Let's see how our tomatoes are looking. Starting to get little brown spots. I don't know, I'm sure you probably can't see that over there. So that's what we want. And I'm going to transfer those. Let me grab a spoon here. I love my scrapers. We have wooden spoons. We have all kinds of different cooking tools. But I just love my mixing scraper and all of my other scrapers. To me, those are just everything. So I'm just going to dip those into our insulated server so the tomatoes will stay hot. Let's just dump them in there. How about that? Okay. Get that lid on there. And we're going to add about 1/4 of a cup of olive oil to our pan. And our garlic and our lemons. Now this pan is really preheated well, so that's going to start sizzling immediately. Whew. And I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Okay. And my oven is just about there preheating to 350. Yep, there it is. So I've got the lemons and the garlic. Oh, smelling good in here. And all we have to do next is add our fish. So we just want to kind of scoot all that to the side there. Get our fish in there. And this is going to cook really quick because I cut the bigger fillets in half. And let's see, let me make sure I got this right. Okay, lemons and crushed garlic, salt and pepper. We're going to add that here in just a second. I've already salt and peppered the fish. Darken 1 minute, lemon garlic to the side, lay in the halibut, transfer it to the oven. So let me add a little bit more salt to that sauce. Okay, and this is just going to go in the oven just for about 4 or 5 minutes. Not going to take long, so I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit while we're waiting on that. Clean up my mess, and let's get our herbs ready, okay? So all we're going to do for the herbs is get them in my little herb mincer. This thing, I love this. It has this little ball that pushes the mint down here, or all the herbs into the little mincing tool. So I'm just going to put all my herbs into the container. And we got some thyme, so I'm just going to slide that right off of the stem into the herb mincer. If you use dried herbs, that's fine. If you don't have fresh herbs, no big deal. But the rule of thumb is, and you would think this would be the opposite, the rule of thumb is you want to use about 3 times as much fresh as you do to the dry. So less on the dry. That sounds like the opposite of what you would think it would be, but there's a lot more intense flavor in the dried herbs. We have our new air fryer that is amazing. I love that thing. I use it almost daily. And the thing about it is I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try drying some of my herbs because I have a lot of herbs. Fresh mint, fresh oregano, all kinds of basil. And let's see how that does in our dehydrator part of that. Okay, so that was oregano, and we're just going to add, oh, here's some more thyme. I didn't have any dill, which normally I like dill when it comes to fish, but my dill just didn't quite take off this year. And I didn't think rosemary would be very good. So let's just put our basil in there. Fresh basil has its own wonderful flavor. I love this. Okay, so all that's going to go in there. It's ready to add to the fish. I just have to mix it up to get that ball in there. We're just going to kill a little bit of time here while we're waiting on that fish to bake. Again, about 5 minutes, that's all it takes. So let's just talk about what you would use if you didn't have all these wonderful tools. You could tear up by hand or mince by hand the mint. You could chop up the garlic if you wanted to, but it's true. What we have makes it so easy and so fast. And this meal is so good. I stopped at the fish market, the local fish market for those of you who are local, and they are also selling meats. So they have meats, fish, all kinds of stuff. But they also sell this wonderful bread that used to be from Federal Bakery. Now it's Christy Ann's Bakery. And I like to slice up a few slices of this to go with my meal because it's perfect for mixing up that tomatoey, jammy tomatoey flavor. So I'm just going to get a couple slices of that for me because John's not eating bread. So we'll have that. And I'm going to get rid of that little twist out because it's all about using the Twix clips. Keeps everything fresh. So there we go. Okay, let's see how our fish is looking. We want to make sure it's done. Okay, it's looking done, but still got a few more minutes there. We got 2 more minutes actually because it's 6:13 now. So if you'd be interested in hosting a show, an online party, or even a live one, I'll be right there. But think about it because we have some great specials the rest of this month and next month. Any one of our new items, anything that's in that catalog is 60% off if you host a show. If you don't really need anything, we could do a fundraiser. We have all kinds of different options for fundraisers. You could pick a group that you're interested in. But I'd love to come and help you get more stuff in your kitchen. I'm actually doing one right now that is a girl is doing for her mother who house burnt down. So we're restocking her kitchen. So that's a great way to help out and everything. I did a couple wedding showers weddings this summer. So I would love to have gotten started with all these great products. All right, let's see what we're doing here. Let's get our fish out of the oven. 1 more minute. I get so impatient. I can't wait. My burner is still on. We're going to add our tomatoes back to the pan. And with that, we're going to add a little bit, 1/4 of a cup of our white balsamic vinegar and another 1/4 of a cup of the olive oil. And we're going to mash those tomatoes down and make a sauce. So I'm using a little bit larger skillet than normal today because I'm going to continue cooking the fish. That's hot. Oh, now our oven mitts that we have now are gray, but they're exactly like this. So because this handle is hot, I like to slide my oven mitt right on there. Okay, so I won't grab that by mistake. Okay, and I'm going to push my fish over to the side, get all that good lemon and garlic over here so the fish can continue cooking. And we're going to add our tomatoes back to this. And we're going to mash them up and cook a little bit longer. Now we are going to eat as soon as this is done. But if you wanted to wait and hold it for a while, you had company come in and wasn't quite ready, and you want to cook ahead of time, you could put it in this insulated server, and that would be great. Now I will say this will squirt when you smash it. Oh, it's not too bad today. With the, there we go, mix and chop to get into those tomatoes. I want to smash them all up and cook them down. As soon as I get them smashed, I'm going to add, actually I think I'll go ahead and add the balsamic vinegar. And this is white, okay? So about 1/4 of a cup. I'm just eyeballing it, as you can tell. And I'm not going to add any more olive oil because I think we've got plenty there in this pan to make our sauce with all of these juices from the tomatoes. So I'm just going to get all my tomatoes smashed up. Oh, that balsamic vinegar added so much wonderful flavor and smells to this. If you haven't used the mix and chop, of course it is made for ground meat, but it is just amazing what it can do here. Just to chop up, like I said, the tomatoes or anything like that. Okay, so we got all that going. We're going to cook that down a little bit. Add our herbs to this. And this is just such a beautiful dish as well as a really flavorful one. And I'm going to turn that heat back up just to get all these juices going. Woo! Balsamic vinegar is getting up my nose. Okay. So we got that. Let's add our herbs, okay? So remember, I've got oregano, thyme, and basil in here. So I'm just kind of shaking it up and getting all that below the bowl. And oh, I always forget to take the lid off. And that happened. Okay, I was like, why is that not coming out? Okay. I'll bring this over and let you see it once I plate it. Because this is wonderful. I know I normally invite, if you're in my neighborhood, come over and eat. But I just have enough for the 2 of us tonight, okay? Actually, it's really 4 servings. Okay, come on, basil, get to the bottom there. There we go. And all of that out and into that flavor. Okay. Here we go. Looking good. Get that fish turned over. Just a little bit more on the other side. Can you see it from over there? I don't know if you can or not. And we're going to serve these in our bowls. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one piece out and plate these and get those tomatoes cooked down a little bit more. I'm giving John a little bit extra fish because he's not eating the bread and I am. So there we go. And all we have to do now is add this wonderful tomato sauce, tomatoes and lemons and herbs and vinegar. And it's just so good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Get that. Whoops, there's a tomato that did not smash up. I don't want that one. And there's another one. Smashing babies up. There we go. Get that all over the plate. Get that on his. Okay, are you all hungry? Are you all ready to eat? Because at the Holland house, dinner is shortly to be served. And I'll bring this over and let you see what I'm talking about here. Bon appetit. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for joining me.